Today's daf is daf nun hey. We are going to begin by the brand new Mishnah. Hey, Rabbi Yechon ben Gud al hacharishus shesiya avia sheyetze beget. Rabbi Yechon ben Gudya testified before the Chachamim about a case of a charishus, a deaf mute woman, who was married by her father when she was a katana. So her marriage, even though a charishus, there should be a gedela, will not take place, but because she's a katana and the Torah gives the permission for a father to marry off his daughter, so the halach is that this marriage takes effect, and therefore she etzes beget, she can be released from her marriage through a get. Although, like we said before, a charishus is not legally competent to give her consent, nevertheless, this get is effective because her divorce, b'deraisa, does not need her consent. Similarly, he testified about the case of a katana, a minor daughter of a non-kohen who was orphaned from her father and then married off to a kohen by her mother or brother, so that midrabanan, this marriage takes effect. So she could eat truma, and if she died, by the yersha, if she dies, her husband inherits her estate, because this marriage is midrabanan. Next case, Rabbi Yechon ben said that a person who stole a beam that was already built in a large building. So there's a din. So over here, the victim of the robbery receives shitlas dam. He only receives the value of the beam, but not the beam himself. This is because a takana instituted for the shavim. If the robber is obligated to return the stolen item, so we're worried that perhaps he'll never admit it because he doesn't want to take down his building. As well, he testified about a chatas which was stolen through robbery, but was not publicly known to have been obtained this way. That it also affects. I think we're going to explain exactly what does it mean for the benefit of the mizbech. So the Gemara Rava said, from the testimony of Rabbi Yechon ben Gud in the Mishnah, that if the husband secretly says to the witnesses, see this get that I'm about to give my wife, and then he says to his wife, take this shtar chayiv, she is divorced, even when she herself does not know what the get says, or what this document in her hand says. Didn't Rabbi Yechon ben Gud say that we don't require the woman's consent for divorce, as the divorce takes effect even when she's a chareshes, which is not legally competent to give her consent? Here too, we should say that we do not require the woman's consent. So the Gemara says, Pshita, it's obvious. Why would the get not be valid? So the Gemara says, you would think, since he said to his wife, take the shtar chayiv, after talking to the witnesses, so you can say that he really wants to cancel the divorce with these words. Therefore, Rava teaches us that if it is so that he meant to cancel the get, he would have told this to the witnesses that this was his kavanah. The fact that he did not say this means he does not want to cancel the get. And the reason why he said this to his wife, as a shtar chayiv, mishum kisufa, is due to embarrassment, as he was ashamed to tell her that he was giving her a get. So, if he gave it in such a way, she did not immediately know that it will be a get. Mishnah says, Valkana bas Yisrael, says about a case of a katana, who was a minor daughter of a non-kohen, was married to a kohen, and said that she could eat truma. So the Gemara says, which implies that only the katana can eat the truma. While we can learn from here that the chareshes le'achel. My time. What's the reason why she cannot eat truma? Because we're worried that the Chachamim made a decree that maybe a deaf mute kohen come to feed truma to his deaf mute wife, as it is common for deaf mute men to marry deaf mute women, but the marriage is not effective midiraisa. What's the problem? Let him feed her truma. Katan eichel nevelasu? Isn't she like a katan who eats could eat nevelas? So when it says no, we're worried Shema eichel chedish b'kachas. We're worried that lest a deaf mute feed truma to his competent wife. Let her partake of truma d'rabbanan. The more answer is Shema also lechel b'truma d'raisa. We're worried that she might come and eat truma d'raisa. The Mishnah says, but a stolen beam that was already built, so they made a takana for shav. So we learned that if a person robbed another beam, and built the entire building, so Bisham says that he has to destroy the entire building from the beam to its owners. Bisil says, Bisil says, like the Mishnah said, he only receives the value of the beam, but not the beam itself. This is as takana for the sake of the shavim, in order to encourage that the guy should do tshuva. The Chacham were lenient and require the robber to return only the value of the beam. So the Mishnah is according to the opinion of Bisil. Mishnah says, and in regards to a sin offering that was obtained through robbery, also by Torah, the halacha is whether it's known or whether it's not known that the korban, that this chatas gzula was gzula, and mechaperes does not take effect. My time, what's the reason? Yirish kedi leikani. The owner's despair of recovering an article that was stolen from him does not by itself enable the robber to acquire the stone itself. Matam amru mechaperes. And what's the reason why? When they said it's not publicly known that's mechaperes, in order that the kain should not be distraught about having korban as an animal fit for the korban. Well, we learned that it's Masad Tikkun HaMizbeach, which indicates Allah was an actor for the benefit of the Mizbeach, not for the Kainim. So the Gemara says, well, is said to them, keeping the Kainim Atzevim, when the Kainim are distraught, the Mizbeach is found to be idle. The Kainim will not sacrifice all the Karbanis when they are distraught. Now, review this is no. Whether it's known or whether it's not known, by time up, because he holds that by itself, that the spear recovering a article that was stolen from him by itself enables the ganav to acquire the stolen item. So what's the reason why they said we should not say them as consume stolen property? So the Gemara says, according to Allah, this is why it says chatas a little bit. But according to Yehuda, my year chatas was up as stuff you pick the chatas of Yehuda even in Elah. So where it says limbai come limbai the call the needless to say Elah, which is called Elah. Filu chatas nama the chil v'dam the salt the gamas be'ach. Either came off the filu hachi gozer. But even in the case where the chatas, where the chil v'dam goes in the mizbeach with the other parts that kind of meat, filu hachi gozer hachi gozer. Even there we make a gzeder because we shouldn't say that the mizbeach is eating gzelis. So now we learned in the Mishnah. But according to Yehuda, should have said the opposite. That if it was publicly known that the korban chatos was obtained through robbery, it does not take effect. So the Gemara says, Rava raised an objection from that was learned in the Mishnah. If one stole an animal and was makdashit in his mizbeach, and afterwards he shechted it or sold it. He has to pay kefil. But he's not to pay. And it was taught in regards to this price that if one shechted an animal outside of the mizbeach, in a case like this, he is punishable by karos for having sacrificed an offering outside the mizbeach. If you're going to say that when the owner despairs of recovering an item that was stolen from him does not by itself enable the ganav to acquire the stolen item, so kares mayavidite. What is the relevance of mentioning kares? The punishment of kares does not apply, as the ganav cannot be makdash an animal that does not belong to him. So Rashiza kares midivreim means kares midivreim. Achichu alai. So those who heard them started laughing. Kares midivreim ika is such a thing as kares midirabanan. Or the Rabba gaver Rabba amr milsa. So Rabbi said to him, a great man has spoken, do not laugh. And what the Rav Shizivim means to say is, Kares that comes to him through the words of Chachamim, or declare that the ganav makdash is valid. It's just the Chachamim who placed an animal in his possession so that he would become chayav for it. Rava says, Havadai kami baili. Although I agree with Shirtziva, this matter is certainly a dilemma for me. When the Chachamim placed the animal in his possession, did they do so from the time of the theft or from the time of the Hakdasha? So what's the difference between the two possibilities? Because they sell, they sell. There's a difference with regard to the wool and with regard to the offspring. If the animal was placed in the possession of the time of the theft, the wool that it grows and the offspring that it births are his. And he's not required to return the animal to the owner. But if the animal becomes his only when he is magdasha, he's required to return them. So my other Rav said, Stama means from the Mishasek in order that the sinner should not profit from the crime. So the Mishnah, the law of Sikorikin did not apply in Yehuda, Barugi Mechama in the time that people were being killed in the war. From the time that people were being killed in the war and onwards, the halacha of Sirokin did apply. What is the halacha of Sikorokin? If one purchased land from Sikorokin, and these people extorted the field from its prior owners with threats, and then afterwards the buyer returned and purchased the same field a second time from the Malabais, the Mekach is bottle. The prior owner of the field can see that he did not actually mean to sell him the field. But by contrast, if he first acquired the field from the prior owner and afterwards he returned and purchased the same field from this Sikarokin, then his purchase stands. Similarly, if one first purchased from the husband the rights to use the field belonging to his wife, and afterwards he returned and purchased the same field from his wife, this is the first Mishnah. Now, later the Beis Din of those who came after the Chachamim who composed the Mishnah said, if somebody purchased a field from Sikarokin, he must give the prior owner 1/4 of the field's value. When this is applied, the time when the prior owner is unable to purchase the field himself. But if he is able to purchase it himself, he precedes anyone else. Rabbi S convened a Beis Din, and they counted their votes and determined that if the field remained before in the possession of the Sikarokin for 12 months, so whoever first purchases the field acquires possession of it. But he must give the prior owner 1/4 of the field's value. So the word challenges the Mishnahs that says that halacha of Sikarokin do not apply in Yehuda at the time that people were being killed in the war. The word says, if in the time that people were being killed in the war, there were no Sikarokin stealing land. So you're saying from the time that people were killed in the war and onwards, there were Sikarokin. So this is this. I don't know Badin Sikarokin Gomer. The Mishnah is saying that in the time that people were being killed in the war, they did not apply the halacha of Sikarokin. They made 3 gzeres. First gzerta kamaisi, the first one called lekoto liktuli. First one was that anyone who did not kill a yid should himself be killed. Now, also the second one is called the koto laisa arbasuzi, that whoever did kill a yid should be paid 4 dinars. Besides the last one called the koto liktuli, whoever killed a yid will be killed. Therefore, during the time of the first and the second decrees, the time when people were being killed in the war, since the Goyim would kill Yidden, and the owner of the field, owing to the danger posed to his life, would fully transfer ownership of the field to the Sikorikis. Now, during the time of the last decree, after the time when people were being killed in the war, anybody whose field was stolen by Sikorikis would say to himself, now let him take the field. Tomorrow I will claim to him in Beis Din, in the court. Although the Goyim had the advantage and could force the owner to give him the field, the assumption is that the owner did not fully transfer possession of the field to him, as he thought that he would still be able to recover in the court. Now, the war that led to the destruction of the second Beis Hamikdash, the Gemara now examines several aspects of the destruction of the Beis Hamikdash in greater detail. What is the meaning of that which is written? Happy is the man who fears always, but he who hardens his heart shall fall into mischief. Okay, so now we're going to start this tomorrow. So again, we're going to start this tomorrow. Yerushalayim was destroyed on account of Kamsa bar Kamsa. The place known as the King of Mountain was destroyed on account of the rooster in the hen. The city of Beitar was destroyed on account of the shaft from a chariot. We'll discuss this tomorrow, Ritzisha.